guys, welcome to Legally Grads, and today's video will be all about the statement of purpose. So before anything, statement of purpose is like it's like a essay paper where you will be stating your purpose of going for a particular law school, particular specialization, or particular course that you have chose for or that you intend to go while applying to abroad studies. So I'll be sharing with you some points that I felt is very necessary while writing a statement of purpose to your university, and this is based on my personal experience and my learnings. I'll be highlighting 10 points that I felt is very important. So without a delay, I think we should get into it, and in the second part of my video I will be sharing how I wrote my personal SOP. So I think without a delay we should get into it. Okay, so now here's the first point. Point number one, I would say always follow a process writing. I started writing. I did not jumped up and started writing everything all at once. What I did was I divided my sections. I actually made a tree and I divided its branches, including what I want to include in my SOP. So there were topics, there were 5 different topics that I segregated. I was clear that I want to mention those all things in my statement of purpose. Okay, so at first, clear out your mind on what things you want to include in your SOP and then start writing. Try to separate at least, that's the least, at least a month for a SOP. I give 2 to 3 months because I solely give my time on SOP as I had. So I would suggest you do the same. Start writing few sentences a day. That's how you can start on and then add on. Don't panic and don't try to start everything all at once. That's my first point. Going into my second point, I would say that always try to show who you are as a person in your SOP, because SOP needs to be very personal and it has to have your experiences. It needs to reflect you as a person, so the reader has to know you through your SOP, has to connect to your SOP as well. So try to make it very personal. Include your own stories, experiences, what you went through and why you have the passion to go for that particular program and what you'll be doing and all of that. So just make it personal. Point number 3 is I suggest you guys do not copy your senior's SOP. Do not even read it, because what I feel is that when you are in a blank mind and you're reading someone else's SOP, then what happens is that you automatically try to include their ideas in your personal essay, and you stop thinking about your ideas and you'll just compare and you'll think that, okay, my idea is not perfect or it's not so good as the other person's. Okay, so do not do that. Don't compare it. Just take tips and tricks from whoever have written it and then start writing your own way. Now going into the point number 4, I would say that always make your SOP very clear. Just have a very little bit of a background that will just connect to your personal story. Do not make things lengthier. Be clear on what you want to say to your SOP and be clear on what goes into each paragraph. So it's like just like the tree method, you before starting your SOP, just make things clear that what will your first paragraph be like, what will you be writing in your second paragraph. So just segregate it very clearly. Moving on to my point number 5, be very specific while writing your SOP. So if you are writing something like there was land with resources, if you're writing something like this, then what kind of resources are you talking about? Like, make sure the reader understands it very clearly. Specify that what kind of resources are you personally talking about. Okay, so do not leave such sentences in an open-ended interpretation. Try to make it clear. Now moving on to my point number 6, along with properly paragraphing your paragraphs, also paragraph your SOP with separate stories, separate experiences in a separate paragraph. Do not jumble up everything all in one paragraph and try to show. Okay, now going on to point number 7, I would always suggest that if you're mentioning certain incidents in your life, then just show it like how that incident has pushed you towards your long-term goal, how that thing has made you fall in love with the program that you're going to go. So always try to connect your incidences with your intent, with your purpose. That's how you'll make a very good statement of purpose. Now moving on with point number 8, I would say that obviously it's a lot of thing is all about paragraph, but I'd always still say that your every paragraph needs to be well structured, and very importantly your paragraph need to flow well with each other. One paragraph should be connected with the other one. There shouldn't be random things written in one thing and then you're going to complete another zone and writing another thing in your next paragraph. You need to understand that your whole essay is like a one thing. There can be your experiences, different experiences, but just it should be intending to say one thing. Okay, so make your paragraph well structured, and your every sentences should have a purpose. If you write something, check it twice, thrice, and just try to clarify if that sentence gives any sense to the paragraph or not. If not, erase it. If yes, then only write it. Okay, now moving on to point number 9. If you're making any kind of claims in your statement of purpose, for example, if you say that I care about environment, then do not just make such claims. Just try to show the reader that you really do care about environment. You can add your personal experiences and example of a time when you did something great, and that clearly shows your intention of how much you care about environment. So you don't just claim it, try to prove it through real examples. Okay, last point, and it's also important because whenever you write SOP, you need to have a very vivid lens on your grammars. You use correct words, spellings, comma, paraphrasing. If you are writing numbers, then don't write 5. You can write FIV, 5 in words. Then that looks better. Be very careful on the choices of your words and paragraphs. The point number 10, which is a basic point, but still it's very important. And another, if you have written anything in your first paragraph, then you need to talk about the same thing in the following paragraphs as well. And if you're introducing anything new in your statement of purpose, then like try to add a few backgrounds to it so that the reader will know what you're exactly trying to say. Okay, it doesn't mean the longer background, but few things that will notify that okay, this thing exists. Okay, these are the basic and important points that you guys need to consider while writing an SOP. Okay, now moving on to second part of this video. I would like to share with you guys how I actually wrote my statement of purpose. So yeah, in your first paragraph with very little background and connecting points, try to make the reader very clear about which program are you trying to go. So I think that's best for first paragraph. That's what I wrote in my first paragraph. And in my first paragraph I actually have cleared out how I started off as a law student and what I want to, and in which field I want to masters in the future. So that was my paragraph number 1. In paragraph number 2, like I have clarified why I actually wanted to go for that particular program within law. For example, I was willing to go for environment lawyering, so I have included my very personal experiences that I gained while trekking, and that was true. That experience I've exactly portrayed in my second paragraph. In my third paragraph, I have relatively linked my second paragraph with my third paragraph. And in my paragraph number 4, I mentioned few of the things that I personally did in this field, in the environment related field, and I also included one work experience from my resume that was connected to environment lawyering, and that also would show my purpose to go for that particular program. So I included that in my fourth paragraph. And the fifth paragraph is all about why you wanted to go for that particular university. So in your fifth paragraph, just write everything that that attracted you towards the university. Do not copy and paste what the website has given you. Write something that fascinated you. For example, I wrote about the clinic that particular university had, and I really wanted to go in that clinic. Okay, so I wrote about that clinic. I wrote about the fear of moot court in me and how I wanted to go for it but I could not, and I want that fear to be overcome. I also mentioned about the professor. So this is what I also would recommend to you guys. If you are very much inspired, just read 2-3 articles of the professor that that is doing so good in that field and is a part of the particular university that you're intending to go. That's how I ended my 5th paragraph. And in the last paragraph, it was a conclusion part. The conclusion part is not like telling the summary or repeating what you have told in other paragraphs. No, in the last paragraph you need to clarify your intentions and plans after graduating. So your conclusion should be well aligned with your first paragraph. I had connected it with what I have introduced in my introduction, and that's how I ended up my statement of purpose. I think this few things might also help you guys to frame your SOP a bit wisely. And yes, I hope you guys like it. So if you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe. You can comment down below if you have any questions related to it. And yes, I'll keep you posted. Yeah, okay, so bye. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for watching.